Hey guys, what's going on? So I wanted to address something. So I got a comment by Sabslide, and essentially what I wanted to talk about is he suggested that I maybe have some graphic on the side of the gameplay or even enlarging the gameplay. I have to zoom in to see what's going on, and just even me personally, I've thought about it, right? Like having a video being done like how you're watching it right now. And the reason why I don't is because when I do videos that are in like when I post videos, right? I like the thumbnails. Like the thumbnail is part of why a lot of videos work. When you do a video that's up and down, that's just like this, there is no thumbnail. You can create one, but it doesn't exist. And a good example that I gave was Momo Royale. I forgot what he used to be called before that. But this is how his videos come up just in a search engine. And you have to like read the description. I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily read description. But if you were to do oh God, I have to like look up my own. There we go. If you were to do, here's like my tier list from 2023 when I just did Gear and I just did all my videos vertical.
Let's talk about the play.
But when you don't, you get this, you get the thumbnails, and that's the difference. I have done a lot of different videos that have that, but when you're scrolling through your feed and it looks like this, and then you see like a Games by the Beach who has a thumbnail, that will automatically catch your attention more than something like this. Or at least that's how I feel. For no reason. It's not because this is necessarily a better video or anything, but like when you see just like a lot of like, just this screen of nothing, as opposed to, like, oh, this is a cool, like, this is a real YouTube video, quote unquote, right? When you scroll through and you see like this, right? As opposed to like that, or this, or, as opposed to that, or this, as opposed to that. I feel like aesthetically, it just looks better, and that's why people do it. Now, he then asked, like, oh, why don't you do graphics like A-Friend Gaming? A-Friend Gaming does graphics on the side, like on the left side, he has his face cam, he has his, like, Discord, join me on Discord, right? But essentially, the center game is the size of my center game.
We're going to be playing
and
Shot, where you get
it doesn't add anything, like in my own personal opinion, I don't think it adds specifically anything. It's more aesthetically pleasing to look at. It fills up the screen more, but there's no way to actually increase the size of the gameplay if you're going to go in landscape mode. So it doesn't necessarily matter. I think it's fine. I think it fills up the screen, and that's aesthetically pleasing.
So coming back to hunting season.
But I don't think I'm going to do that, because then that requires me to upload my video to my computer and then to edit in things just to be there for no other reason other than to be aesthetically pleasing. And the way that I have it set up right now, I can just immediately upload my video. I can either do it in portrait like I am right now, and upload it, or I can do it in landscape and automatically upload it.
We don't have anything
like
to orient our
so the other thing that I wanted to talk about, because this is just me, I just wanted to talk about some things. And I feel like this is something that, like, I feel like this is what differentiates like my YouTube channel as opposed to like an A-Friend Gaming or a Momo Royale or Games by the Beach. I feel like I have a lot of thoughts about this game, whereas people like just like gameplay. Like, oh, I'm just going to go into battle history. I'm going to go into League 16. Oh, look at this crazy battle. It's Max Monk and 4408% crit. And it's a 1.9 billion game. And it's against Max Monk and Max Tesla and level 20 Zeus. Let's play this. And that's my video. Like, that's not what I'm here to do. I feel like a lot of other YouTube channels, like Momo Royale, because he is at that like level of play, that is impressive, and that's why you would go to him. And that's why, like, that's what makes him unique. I feel like I have a lot of different takes on the mechanics of this game and like the theory crafting about this game. But if I had one thing to complain about, it's that I hate that people complain about this game. And that might sound counterproductive, like, oh, if you're gonna, like, you know, how do you hate people complaining about this game, but you're gonna complain about them complaining about this game? I feel like I was one of those people. I feel like I was one of those people that when I was really early on in the game, I was like, oh, that person is only winning because they have a level 5 gadget. If I had a gadget, because all I have is trainer, and, you know, if I had gadget, then I'd be winning, right? I have a level 13 gadget. I have a level 13 gadget, and right now I'm just complaining about how I don't have a level 15 gadget, or how I don't have a level 20 gadget, how it's so hard, it's just so impossible to get the rest of these hero fragments. I need that 44 to 54. I need 10 fragments to get to 14, but then I need like probably 60 more to get to 15, right? And that's not even to say like I then need to get to 20, right? But see, if I were to have a level 20 gadget, I could complain about, oh, now I'm just losing to level 5 Zeus. Now I'm just losing to level 10 Zeus. Now I'm just losing to 15 Zeus, right? The game, how it works is it just keeps compiling. And I feel like most YouTubers will never talk about this, but I felt like I wanted to talk about this so that if you want to listen to what I have to say, maybe you will think about this game a little bit differently. And maybe you will figure out reasons to not complain. Because I hate when people complain about the game just to complain about the game. I'll give you this example that I just, you know, dealt with on my own team, right? So this person posted this game, like YSnipes, posted this game, and he did it with the heading, of course, right? So he lost. He has a level 10 gadget, but they have a level 12. He has a level 13 Blade Dancer, but they have a max level Night of Light Inquisitor, right? Which is like arguably one of the best decks. He has less crit, 2773 to the 3401, right? He even has less trophies, 5981 to 6114, right? What is the problem here? There's one specific problem that I feel like if you just saw my last video about toxic players and why toxic decks need to exist, I think you understand what the problem is. And if you don't, the problem is that he cannot affect his opponent's board. There is nothing in his deck that he is doing to affect his opponent's board, which means all he is doing is trying to win the damage race. And against a player with a higher crit, with a higher gadget, with a higher, with a max level unit where you don't have a max level unit, with a 13 Knight statue and you have a 9, like with all of these things, the only way to win this game is to use like something that affects your opponent's board. A sharpshooter, a enchant sword, anything. Literally anything that you can do to affect your opponent's board is the only way you can win this game. Because if you don't do that, you're trying to play the damage race and they're just going to out-damage you. So I said, very simply, you should really run Sharpshooter. I feel like Sharpshooter, if he's going into, like, the battle is 1.2 billion damage. That means he's definitely going into double bosses, triple bosses. If he was running Sharpshooter, especially because his opponent is not running Sharpshooter, that gives you an edge. That gives you an insane edge. Once you are able to build up a Sharpshooter to hit Inquisitors, especially because he's running Night of Light, right? It's a little bit worse against Night of Darkness, with the shield, but especially because he's running against Night of Light, which is the dominant deck at this, like, you know, like range. Sharpshooter would, you know, like even if he killed the first boss later, if he stunned Sharpshooters and the opponent got bedlammed, he would win. Just very simply, he would win. That's it. and then his opponent would have to rebuild if he ended up killing the Bedlam, right? But he is at the same board state, and then he could keep building. So I just said you should really run Sharpshooter, and he said, why Sharpshooter? Seems like it would make it much unlikely. If anything, he should go with Chemist, and his Sharpshooter is not upgraded, right? I'm offering him a solution to not complain about, going up against a higher crit, a higher gadget, a higher, right? Because there are ways around it. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of people post these things and you're supposed to rally behind them and be like, oh my God, this game is so unfair. This game is so dumb. That was so broken. The game matchmaking sucks, right? He's at 5981 trophies. His opponent is at 6114. That's relatively close. As in, if you can get to 5981 trophies, these are the people that you should be playing against. That's how that works. If you want to keep playing PvP in order to get higher in trophies, understand that as you go higher in trophies, you go into different arenas. And a level 7 arena, level 13, level 4 gadget, level 6, level 1, a league, what was that? A league 4 to league 5? Level 10 Zeus, level 2 Snowflake, level 5 Trainer, level 3, 5 to 6, right? Level 3 Zeus, level 1 Mari, level 1 Gadget, level 1 Trickster, right? As you move up into the ranks, stuff gets harder. Level 4 Gadget, level 1 Gadget, level 16 Trainer, level 5 Zeus. It stacks with you. As you win, your battles get harder. And there are ways around that. If you watch my I Broke tournament video, you know that if you just stop playing PvP, you'll go up against really, really dumb players. Really, really early on, people playing level 5 Trainer kind of players. So I just said you should really use Sharpshooter. And he was like, I don't want to use Sharpshooter, Chemist is better, right? And so I just posted this, where I was like, I'm going up against a Max Inquisitor, and he had Sharpshooter, and I had Sharpshooter, and I won. And this was a 369 million damage game, and I didn't need to go into the billions of damage. For all of those keeping track, that's 700 million more damage that he did in order to lose, right? I beat this guy at a 369 million because I was able to affect my opponent's board. This was actually a really good battle, by the way. And I said, no, but seriously, you should run Sharpshooter. And he responded with 1,000 plus crit on teammate and level 10 pass for gadget. Plus maximum Blade Dancer, right? Because I have a max Blade Dancer, and that's why I won. And I have more than, I'm past level 10 on my gadget, and that's why I won. And I have 3693 crit percentage to his 2641, so that's why I won, right? And so I said, did you complain just to complain? Because his original post is, of course I lost, right? To which, again, I will respond with, what did you want everybody to respond with? Oh my God, that's so unfair? And so I just went on to a rant. So I wrote, so did you complain just to complain? Because I offered a solution, and he decided he didn't want it. And then so then I'm showing him that, yes, it does work. And he's like, well, you only won because you had better crit percentage and a better gadget, right? And so his thing was, no, it would have been close with my team for the way you play. 1,000 crit matters. Show me your 3,500 crit versus 4,500 crit and I'll believe you, plus my levels. You are not as intelligent as you want to think. And so I just went on to a rant You can like screenshot this or whatever. I just went on to this long rant that I basically just explained right now. That throughout this game, you can complain if you want to complain, but it just keeps going. If you want to complain about how you have a level 5 gadget and your opponent is only winning because they have a level 10 gadget, once you get a level 10 gadget, you will then start losing to people who have a level 15 gadget. Once you have a level 15 gadget, you will then start losing to people who have a level 20 gadget, right? Once you start getting, 2,000 crit, you will be losing to people who have a 2,500 crit. It just keeps stacking unless you figure out a way in order to win in a different way that doesn't involve using crit or using gadget or using Zeus. Or if you can't just play this game through damage, because there will always be somebody that has better damage. If you have 4,000 crit, there are people out there that have 5,000 crit. It just keeps going. As they increase, as they introduce more units and more heroes and more tournament things, there are ways to get a better crit percentage. There will always be somebody with a better crit percentage or more max level things in their deck or a better gadget. And even if you had what is regarded as the best hero, which is a level 20 Zeus, there are people with Zeus glasses, which is the heroic item. You would then have to max that out, right? At which point you could still lose. You could still lose based on luck. Like, oh, maybe when they summoned in, they got more dryads than you. Maybe they had more double hits on their scrapper. And so then you could complain that, oh, this was unfair because they just got lucky. It's not a good way, it's not a good reason to complain about somebody having a better something than you. Because you will do that for the rest of your game. And what I'm trying to say is that if you find yourself complaining like this without offering a solution, if you're not looking for somebody to give you like, hey, maybe you could run Shaman in your deck. I know that that's not a really like a normal thing that you would run, but maybe if you could affect your opponent's board, maybe that would help you. Maybe that would give you an edge to beat somebody who has a better something than you. At which point, he then posted this that he won. I'll just give you a quick glance at what this is. To which my response was, to your point, how unfair. You only won because you had more crit and a better gadget. Because he was running a level 10 gadget, his opponent was running Trickster. How unfair. That's so unfair. They need to fix this matchmaking. It's so unfair that he was paired up against somebody with lower trophies. You're 10 trophies more than him. Or you're 100 trophies more than him. How unfair, right? How unfair. You have a level 13 Blade Dancer, but they only have a level 12 Inquisitor. How unfair. Matchmaking sucks, right? But people don't complain backwards. They only complain when it benefits them. They only complain about matchmaking when they lose because of matchmaking. But they don't also complain when they win because of matchmaking. And so people, I just feel like a lot of people find this as a way to complain, just to complain, and I don't understand it. He said that his maximum damage that he's ever done is 1.4 billion. If they can do more than that, they win. The game is simple. Show me your maximum, then I'll believe you. I don't even know what that means. My maximum will be with Chemist and getting all my Blade Dancer for my equipments for blue or for red, right? He's saying that he just wants to play the damage game. And that if the opponent can do more damage, that they'll win, and it's simple. But if you go back to his post, he's angry that he lost because of damage, right? He said, of course. And I don't know what that means, other than, oh, of course he won, because he dealt more damage than me, right? And I just don't understand. And, okay, so then this person said, the problem with the way that I'm looking at this game, it's pointless the way I explained it. I should not PvP because the matchups get unfair, but that's my fault because I move up in trophies. That's how it works. No, that is the designer's fault. They should create matchups that are based off your deck, not take the easy route and base them off trophies. The game is pointless to just sit here and never play PvP. I get that the matchups will always be a little off, but that's not what I'm complaining about. The matchups are straight up awful, most PvPs. That is the exact thing that he just complained about. He said the matchups will always be a little bit off, but the matchups are awful, most PvPs. That's the same thing. I rarely ever face someone that doesn't have the advantage. And so the original person said, no, they should base it off crit and trophies. And then they said, I would agree. Deck, trophies, and crit should be factored in. I would rather wait for matchups a bit than to get smoked in an unfair matchup. I don't understand. Like, people say that they want it to be based off your deck and your trophies and your crit. What kind of algorithm is that? Like, oh, so you're playing against, you have a Blade Dancer, so you should be paired up against what? Blade Dancers of equivalent thing? They're playing Inquisitor? Oh, that's unfair because Inquisitor beats Blade Dancer. Oh, that's now unfair because, oh, they have a higher crit percentage. Oh, that's now unfair because they have a higher gadget. Oh, that's unfair because they... Like, I feel like it's just an endless stream of complaining, and I don't understand it. And I hope that this video, like, gets you and speaks to you, because, like, if you want to complain about how the game scales, then stop scaling. Just stop playing PvP. There's no real reason to play PvP and to make the game harder for yourself. I'm in League 4. Like, I could get these rewards, right? I could get these rewards, which are, again, not legendaries. And this is like, 6225 is like the legendary that you really want, right? And yeah, you can keep scaling, and you can try for, like, this amazing chest, the one where you get to choose. But honestly, if you decide to go for these trophies, you can't complain about how people have just better cards. Unless you also have better cards, and that's why you're getting to that point. But if you're getting to that point because you have better cards, you will face off against people who have better cards. That's how the game works. It's fair because you got to that point. You got to the point that everybody else around you is getting to. It's not unfair. And there's no way to make it more fair unless you stop playing PvP. And there's no real reason to play PvP except to get legendaries. But beyond this legendary here at, like, League 4, the rest of the legendaries are really difficult to get. To try to make your way all the way up to this one, or especially to this one, it's really hard. You're going to start playing up against level 15 Zeuses. You're going to start playing up against level, like max level Inquisitors with a max level Dryad, with a max level Portal Keeper, with a max level Scrapper. You're going to play up against those people. And the only other reason to play is to get the auto legendary at 7. Like 7, if you can get to League 7, which is even before this, if you can get to League 7 and get the automatic legendary once the new season restarts, that's pretty much all you need. That's really all you need. Just make it to League 7, and, like, at the end of the season, just make it to League 7 and stop playing. I don't know. Like, I just don't understand how people complain about this game all the time. I remember there was somebody complaining about when they changed this extra square to the epics. When they decided to add an epic on Saturday, Sunday, and people complained that there was an epic, and they just wished that it was gems because they need gems more. And I straight up said, I was like, I feel like if it was gems, people would complain that it's only 10 gems. And it's not more. And the developers are stingy. And the developers just care about making money. Dude, they don't have to give you anything for free anyway. Like, The fact that they're even giving you something for free is crazy. I feel like most people complain about this game because if they're not winning, they're complaining about losing. And if they're not getting everything, they're complaining about getting nothing. And I feel like once you start understanding how this game works, and once you start understanding that you have to lose games because somebody has to lose, and once you become humble enough to be like, okay, I'm in a league that I shouldn't be in. I was using Shaman and Witch, and I, forced myself into like League 8, right, or Arena 8, and I shouldn't be here. And so like now I'm playing it up against people who have max level everything, and I don't have max level anything because I use Shaman to get here so that I could get rewards. And now I'm losing. And the game is not unfair. I just chose to do this. Like once you understand like what you did to be where you are, maybe you'll start to realize, stop playing PvP. Stop playing PvP and it'll make your life like really easy. But if you want to play PvP because you want the rewards right now for whatever reason, understand that the game scales with you. And if you keep beating players, eventually people will start to beat you.